He came home early, jet-lagged, grumpy, and tired from a Tokyo board meeting. All he wanted was a shower. But when the millionaire opened the nursery door, he froze. The maid didn't know he was watching. And what she did to his 4-year-old son made him drop his phone in shock. The security footage confirmed everything, and within hours, the media would call it one of the most powerful stories of human kindness caught on tape. But what really happened behind that closed door? That's the part no one saw. Until now, Harrison Gray wasn't supposed to be home for another 4 days. His private jet cut through the pre-dawn California sky, touching down in silence. A silent car ride followed. No assistance. No press. He wanted one thing, time with his son. Liam was only 4, and the past 6 months had been a carousel of babysitters, travel, and guilt. When the glass doors of his Pacific Heights mansion slid open, Harrison didn't even alert the staff. He wanted to see his son without the usual show. He stepped out of his Italian loafers and climbed the stairs barefoot. The nursery door was cracked. He paused. Soft humming floated out. A lullaby. Spanish. Gentle, soothing. He couldn't place the melody, but something about it tugged at him. He pushed the door open. The sight froze him. There, in the dim morning light, the maid, Marisol, sat on the rocking chair. Liam was curled in her lap, wrapped in a blanket. Not just any blanket, his late wife's. The one Harrison had packed away in a sealed box 3 years ago. Marisol didn't see him. She stroked Liam's hair, whispering softly, her voice thick with emotion. Liam wasn't asleep. His little fingers were clutched around her necklace. His breathing was steady, peaceful. Harrison took a step back, heart pounding. The sight hit something in him he didn't know was still alive. He hadn't held his son like that in months. Harrison stepped back from the doorway like he'd just seen a ghost. That blanket. That lullaby. Marisol's voice. None of it made sense. The woman was supposed to be temporary staff, brought in through an agency 6 weeks ago. He barely remembered her interview. His assistant had handled most of it. Yet the way she held Liam, it wasn't professional. It was maternal. Deep. Like she'd known him forever. He didn't interrupt. He couldn't. Instead, he went to his home office, quietly accessed the security camera system, and rewound the nursery feed. He needed to know if this was a one-time thing, or if something had been happening behind his back. And what he found shattered him. Day after day, after the other nannies clocked out, Marisol stayed. She didn't just clean. She played with Liam. Talked to him. Cooked small meals. She taught him Spanish, patiently, tenderly. She even sang to him the lullaby he just heard, the same one his late wife used to hum before bed. Harrison leaned closer. How did she know that? Then he found something else. 2 nights ago, Liam had woken up crying. Night terror. The kind Harrison knew too well but hadn't seen in weeks. Marisol had rushed in, not just to soothe him, but sat on the floor with him for over an hour, talking through his fear. She told him stories. She shared how her own son used to cry the same way. Wait. Her own son. Harrison's chest tightened. He scrolled deeper into the feed history. Over the past 3 weeks, she'd celebrated his son's tiny milestones, things Harrison hadn't even known about. Drawing his first family portrait. Saying his first Spanish sentence. Even trying to tie his own shoes. And in every clip, Marisol wasn't just there. She was mothering him. And Liam loved her. Truly, deeply loved her. Harrison paused the feed. A close-up shot, Liam holding her necklace again. The same silver chain she wore every day. She never took it off. In one frame, Liam had asked, "Who's that, Mari?" And she'd whispered, "That's my angel. Just like your mommy." He replayed it 5 times. Same sentence. Same tone. Just like your mommy. A storm brewed inside him. Grief, jealousy, confusion, guilt. Why hadn't he seen this? Why had no one told him? Why did this woman know his son's pain better than he did? He pulled up her profile again. Marisol Alvarez. 32, originally from Santa Ana. Widowed. Applied for the cleaning position after being laid off from a school cafeteria. No red flags. No ties to his past. Yet. Something didn't sit right. He tapped the necklace footage again. Zoomed in. The locket had an engraving, blurred in the footage, but familiar. Too familiar. Harrison reached into his own drawer, pulled out a tiny, worn photo from a decade ago, his wife in college, grinning in a photo booth next to her 2 best friends. One of them was a teenage girl. Bright smile. Big dimples. The same eyes as Marisol. He checked the back of the photo. Sophia, Elena, and Mari, UCLA Summer '09. His breath caught. Marisol. Mari. She wasn't just a maid. She was Elena's best friend. And she'd never told him. Harrison didn't sleep. The sun was already climbing by the time he walked into the kitchen, where Marisol was quietly cutting fruit for Liam's breakfast. She looked up and smiled, completely unaware of what he'd discovered. "Good morning, Mr. Gray. You're home early." He didn't answer. She noticed the change in his expression instantly. The silence. The way he studied her, like a puzzle he suddenly recognized but couldn't solve. "I saw the footage," he said finally. She froze, knife hovering midair. Footage. The nursery. Last night. The blanket. The lullaby. All of it. Marisol's face paled, but she didn't look away. "I can explain. Can you?" Harrison stepped forward. "Because I'm trying to figure out how a stranger not only found my wife's old blanket in a sealed box but also knows the lullaby she used to sing to Liam. And now I find a photo from college with you in it. With her. My wife." Her hands trembled slightly. "You knew Elena," he said quietly. "Didn't you?" Marisol set the knife down. Her voice was soft. "Yes." Harrison's world tilted. The shock. The rage. The betrayal. "Why didn't you tell me?" She sighed, eyes glassy now. "Because I didn't think you'd remember me. I was the quiet one. Elena was my best friend. We were roommates, actually. I was there the night you two met. At that tiny Italian restaurant by UCLA. I was the one who dared her to talk to you." Harrison blinked. Memory flickered. Dim, blurry. But it was there. A quiet girl with dimples. A camera. A laugh behind the scenes. "I lost touch with her after college," Marisol continued. "Life happened. My husband died when I was 27. Cancer. My son, Matteo, he passed 2 years ago. Hit and run. I didn't know Elena had passed until I saw her photo in an article about you last fall. That's when I applied for the job." Harrison stared at her. "You applied to clean my house." "I didn't want pity," she said quickly. "Or a handout. I just wanted to be near her son. I wanted to make sure he was okay." He looked away, emotion threatening to crack through his cold facade. "You should have told me." "I know," she whispered. "But I didn't want to cross a line. Then I saw him crying that first night, and he called me Mari without even knowing my name. That's what Elena used to call me. I just couldn't walk away." Silence filled the kitchen. Only the hum of the refrigerator filled the space. Finally, Harrison spoke again. "That necklace. The one Liam always touches. Who's in it?" Marisol opened the locket slowly and held it out. Inside, a tiny photo of her son, Matteo. "Liam says it helps him sleep when he's scared. So I let him hold it sometimes. Matteo was brave. I tell Liam he can be brave too." Harrison's throat closed. This woman, this stranger, had stitched a mother's warmth back into his son's life without him ever noticing. Not for money. Not for power. Just love. And he hadn't even thanked her. Not once. Harrison didn't say a word for a long time. He just stared at the locket, the photo of a boy he never met, and a woman who had quietly filled a role he hadn't been able to step into since Elena died. His jaw clenched, voice strained. "You should have told me the truth the moment you saw Liam." "I was going to," Marisol said, eyes brimming with guilt. "But you looked so broken, Mr. Gray. You were barely home. When you were buried in meetings. I didn't want to be another complication." "That's not your choice to make." "You're right," she nodded. "But Liam, he needed someone. Not a stranger with a clipboard or another assistant who leaves at 5. He needed someone who wouldn't leave." That hit hard. Because deep down, Harrison knew she was right. He'd been throwing money at the problem. Hired therapists. Playdate consultants. Even a sleep coach. But none of them had stayed long. None had reached Liam. But Marisol did. And she did it for nothing. Not once had she asked for extra pay, a title, or recognition. In fact, she'd gone out of her way to stay invisible. "Why didn't you take something?" Harrison asked. "People like to be seen when they give. You didn't even want me to know." She swallowed. "Because giving doesn't mean anything if you need to be seen doing it." He stared at her. That was something Elena would have said. Later that afternoon, Harrison sat alone in the nursery. Liam was napping upstairs, still clutching that same silver locket. Harrison watched him for a long time before picking up the phone. He called his assistant. "Cancel the staff agency. We're hiring someone full-time." "Understood." "Who?" "Marisol Alvarez." A pause. "The cleaner." "Not anymore." That evening, he called Marisol into his study. She walked in cautiously, still unsure where they stood. "You're not a cleaner," Harrison said plainly. "You're not staff. Not to me. And certainly not to Liam." Her lips parted. "Mr. Gray. From now on, you're Liam's caregiver. Guardian. Mentor. Whatever you want to call it. I didn't ask for this." "I know. That's why it matters." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside, a full salary contract. Medical benefits. Life insurance. A college fund with her name attached, set up in memory of her son, Matteo. Her hands trembled as she opened it. "I can't accept this." Yes, Harrison said, voice firm, you can. You've already given more than any of us deserved. I'm just trying to catch up. Tears slipped down her cheeks. He called me Mama once, she whispered. He didn't mean to. He was half asleep. I corrected him. Harrison nodded. It's okay. No, it's not. That's not my place. He looked down at the framed photo of Elena on his desk, then back at Marisol. It's not about place, he said. It's about presence. Word spread fast. A week after Harrison made Marisol Liam's official caregiver, a tabloid caught wind of it. At first, the headlines were what you'd expect. Billionaire father replaces nanny with cleaner. Latina maid moves into millionaire's mansion, what's really going on? But it wasn't gossip that made it viral. It was the footage. Harrison did something no one expected. He released a clip to the press. Just 60 seconds. No voiceover. No spin. Just Marisol, sitting in the nursery, rocking Liam gently. Her voice carrying that soft, Spanish lullaby. Liam holding the necklace. The light catching just enough of her face to show the care written in every line. Then the camera tilted. And in the background, standing frozen in the doorway, Harrison himself, hands trembling, watching the woman who unknowingly stepped into the role he didn't realize his son had been missing. The clip hit 20 million views in 3 days. Not because of money. Not because of the mansion. But because everyone saw something familiar in it. Something human. Raw. A child, comforted. A man, humbled. A woman, grieving, but still giving. That night, Harrison sat with Liam in his arms. Marisol sat beside them. For once, the house didn't feel hollow. It didn't feel like Elena was gone. It felt like something was still here. Being built again. Liam touched the necklace around Marisol's neck. Is Mateo still watching us? He whispered. Marisol smiled gently. I think he is. Harrison wrapped his arm around them both. So is your mom. Months passed. Marisol didn't move into the mansion, but she visited daily. Liam thrived. Spoke more. Slept better. Laughed, real, belly-deep laughter Harrison hadn't heard in 2 years. And Harrison. He started making room. In his home. In his calendar. In his heart. For his son. And for the woman who helped him remember how to be a father.